Hello internet people and welcome to Fairly Geeky. My name is Andrew Walker and I am Fairly Geeky. When I was 6 years old, my dad gifted me my very first games console, a second-hand Sega Master System that he'd bought off some guy that he worked with in the factory. I hadn't actually seen a games console at this point, so I wasn't 100% sure what it was. Little did I know that 20 years later I would still be obsessed with games and gaming culture. I had all sorts of games with my first console. Choplifter, Sonic, Bubble Bobble, Psycho Fox, but it was the game I was going to get the following Christmas which would really cement my love for gaming. So please come with me as I take a quick look at one of my all-time favourite games, Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap. Released in 1989 by the now defunct West 1, Dragon's Trap is a platforming action-adventure game with some RPG elements. The game opens with a reimagining of the previous game's final level, in which you are tasked with defeating the evil Mecha Dragon to save Wonderland. However, Wonder Boy has gone from being a blonde to having green hair for some reason. As you progress through the castle, back towards the Mecha Dragon, you are made to feel like an absolute badass. You have a huge health pool, and are equipped with the legendary armour, shield and sword, which you will later discover is actually the most powerful set in the game. Now here is where things differ hugely from its predecessors in the series. Since this game was released purely as a console title and not originally a coin-hungry arcade machine, there is no timer. You can take all the time in the world to make it to your destination, which is great, because this first section of the game is a bloody maze. It forces you to explore the castle layout to find the correct route to progress. This is an incredibly clever design choice, getting the player used to exploring right from the off. One thing you are going to learn, this game is not going to hold your hand. So after looping around the halls a few times, you finally find the Mecha Dragon, just chilling in his crib. The Mecha Dragon will breathe fire and clumsily walk into you to inflict damage. Which leads me nicely onto my main bugbear with this game. Taking damage is so annoying. First of all, you get stun-locked, resulting in losing control of your character and getting knocked all over the place. And secondly, just listen to that noise. Every time you get hit, over, and over, and over, and over, and over, and over. Anyway, you jump up, you stab him in the nose, and repeat until victory. The Mecha Dragon explodes into a shower of coins, and a friendly-looking flame face starts following you around. No doubt he wants a hug. You give him one, and I'm a dragon too now. Oh, I've been cursed. Well, the castle is now falling down around us, so we best get the hell out of here. So, armed with our fire breath, we escape the crumbling castle and are treated to a scene of the castle falling in on itself. So, here we are. We seem to be in a small town next to a church? Our dragon friend is now situated on the right-hand side of the screen, facing left, as opposed to the standard opposite of this. Again, signifying to the player, go explore! Also, our dragon friend seems to have gone down to only one heart. Interesting. I know we were cursed, but we clearly had all our hearts when escaping the castle a moment ago. I guess maybe the curse just took time to take full effect? Meh, anyway, let's see what's here. We have doors, one with a nurse who can heal us all the way back up to full health. Nice. Oh, for a price. Clearly no National Health Service here in Monsterland. There is a shop, we have some locked doors, and in the church we have... Oh, hello. Are you really a pig man of God? Well, it is here, with the chain-smoking, eye-badge-rocking, vest-wearing clergyman, where you can save your game. By making note of this 14-digit passcode, you can continue your adventure when you need to take a break. Welcome to 1989, everybody! Why there isn't a battery in this cartridge to save the game like Zelda had 3 years previous is kind of beyond me. But, you know, after making note of the passcode, we are off. Any minute. Cool. There really is no direction here, the whole game is fairly non-linear. You head one way until you either hit a dead end, or decide the enemies are way too hard and go find a different route. Speaking of enemies, there are all sorts of various creatures for us to breathe fire on. Crabs, snakes, clouds, fish, octopi, this thing, and they all have attack patterns you'll want to learn. Our foes cleverly depict their difficulty to kill based on their colour. Red enemies are weak, green enemies are slightly harder, and blue enemies are going to kick the crap out of you. After a fair bit of exploring, we come across another heart, lots of coins, these things, which I'll explain in a moment, a few different one-use only weapons, which I hardly ever bother with, and a key. The key allows us to enter a locked door back in town, which takes us to a desert, in the sky. Before we go up there, let's talk stats and equipment. Stats are affected by what armour, shield and sword you have equipped. Even the Dragon Man can equip a sword, although we can't physically use it. In fact, Wait, what? Lizard Man? No, I think you're going to find he's actually a dragon. He has spines all down his back, can stand upright, and breathes fire. Okay, add that to the list of things wrong with this game. Anyway, where was I? Stats. So yeah, by changing your character's equipment, you can increase his AP, his attack points, his DP, defense points, and his CP, charisma points.
Charisma is increased in 2 ways. Arms you have a CP rating, and also by collecting these things. See, I said I'd get back to these mysterious shiny stones. These charisma stones drop randomly from enemies and are automatically equipped to make your CP go up. Charisma is a strange stat. It basically depicts what items you are able to buy from certain vendors. In fact, if this piggy does not like the amount of charisma you have, he won't even show you what he has for sale. I don't think he's going to win any Entrepreneur of the Year awards with that strategy. Although, to be fair, later some of these vendors actually hide their shops behind invisible doors, so maybe they really aren't in this to turn a profit. Anyway, basically Charisma is a way of stopping you grinding for gold and buying all the best equipment too early in the game. Clever, I guess, but 7-year-old me didn't read the instruction manual, so I only recently fully understood this mechanic. Some of your equipment can have special properties too, like the sword that allows you to break blocks, and the armour that makes you invulnerable to lava damage. Again, these aren't really explained very well in the game, so I often didn't know when to use what. Okay, let's head to the desert. Remember how I said you will encounter enemies that will kick the crap out of you? Well, if you head to the right, that's exactly what's going to happen. So eventually, you will give up and go to the left, leading to a pyramid, inside of which is our first dungeon. Fighting your way through the frogs, fire-breathing heads, and these cute balls of adorableness, will finally mean you are confronted with our first real boss, the Mummy Dragon. He flies around and breathes bogies. Yep, it's gross. Well, we slay him and another shower of coins appears, and another fire spirit. Yes! This will change us back to our awesomely green-haired human form for sure. Let's just... Oh, I'm a mouse. It's gonna be one of those days. Being a mouse isn't all bad. We can now stick to certain blocks. These are geniusly called mouse blocks. It's so much fun walking upside down and watching his little feet bob from side to side. I mean, it makes no sense, as a mouse cannot walk on walls, but I guess if you're going to call a dragon a lizard, anything goes. Using this new ability, we can now shortcut back to the main hub of the town and start to explore previously unattainable areas. Our next port of call is heading through the jungle to reach the castle far off to the west. This spooky jungle castle is so cool, as it's split in half. First you navigate to the top on the left hand side, then you drop down in the middle, and you have to work your way back up on the right. At the top there is another door, and behind this, what a surprise! It's another dragon. This time round he breathes God knows what, but it's gross. We jump over him and try our hardest to stab him in the nose, but more often than not we're going to hurt ourselves due to Mouseman having such stupid stubby arms. Slumming sound. The dragon dies, and this time Mr. Flameface changes us into... one of these! It turns out you are now Piranha Man. Along with being fully sized and carrying a sword and shield, we can now swim. You know what that means, more exploring. So yeah, this pattern repeats a couple more times. You buy some more equipment, you find more upgrades, you explore new areas, and take down a dragon. Piranha Man can defeat the pirate dragon in the underwater upside down pirate ship, and is changed into Lion Man. Lion Man's unique skill is that he swings his sword from his head down to his paw, meaning you can break blocks previously not possible. Lion Man heads underground to an awesomely samurai-inspired world. He defeats the dragon here, and we get our final form, Hawkman. Yes, that's right folks, we can now fly. And we are not restricted to certain areas either. We can fly anywhere. Exploring just got real. Oh, apparently Hawkman doesn't like water very much though. Our final stop is, predictably enough, in the sky. But before we go there, we are able to fly back over to the castle where this whole thing started from.
When I was little, I played this game loads, but it took me months, maybe even years to get to this point, so being able to go back to where it all started to explore the destroyed castle felt amazing. The reason it took me so long to get to this point was simple. This game was very difficult for 7-year-old me. I mean, I even struggle now taking down some of those last few bosses. I died over and over. And that's one thing I haven't covered yet. Death.
When you die, you see your human form fly up to what I assume is heaven, and you get to continue your adventure. But you continue back from the main town. You keep your equipment and gold that you've collected so far, but you are now down to 1 health, which you need to heal back up, and then head all the way back to wherever you died. There are no checkpoints. So dying on a dragon is demoralising. These are not a couple of minutes easy walk back to the boss. You need to get to the dungeon. You need to complete the dungeon again before you get your second shot. It's so soul-crushing. I'm talking Dark Souls levels of pain when you die. Your only hope is that you've managed to luckily collect a potion or 2 on your way back. Potions will regain some of your health automatically when you die. You can carry up to 3. However, these are entirely random drops and not very common at all, and even if you do find yourself using one, the amount of health it actually gives you back is entirely random. It could only be 1 heart. So, after exploring the castle ruins, in which you can find your legendary gear again, whoop! Except this little piggy wants us to pay for something which is technically ours already, we are now ready to take on the final castle. The final castle is long. Technically it's the easiest to get to as you can access it straight from the main hub, but it's still a test of endurance to get through. In here you will need to use all the skills you have picked up along the way, and will be required to swap between each of the different forms you have acquired. It really feels satisfying when you get to a dead end and know exactly which form you need in order to progress. In a way, it's like seeing old friends come back to help you, and it's the perfect way of reminding you that you would not be here, right now, about to take on the final boss if it was not for the strength your journey had given you. So here we go, the final boss. You will be fighting the Vampire Dragon as Hawkman. And let me tell you now, I hate this guy. He moves very quickly, he shoots fireballs in what seem like random attack patterns, and just to confuse matters, you have to hit the face on his stomach and not his nose like you have for every other dragon thus far. The main reason this boss is a nightmare is that your instinct will to be fly around and attack him. You are, after all, a bird, and surely that's the point of making you fight him as such. However, flying around will mostly just result in stun locking you, and that bloody sound again. No, the way to beat him, and stand a chance, is to keep your feet, or talons, firmly on the ground, and only jump to attack when needed. It's such a shame, this fight could have been so much more epic. Hawkman, flying around, would have looked so much more badass, but it's just not a safe strategy. After what could be many, many attempts, the Vampire Dragon is finally slain, and you are rewarded with this, the Salamander Cross. According to the manual, it's the only thing which can change Wonder Boy back into his human form. And that's exactly what it does. Well, first of all, it strips you of all your previous forms, one by one. They float off in pain to some incredibly sad music. I always found this bit heartbreaking. I know they're only supposed to be forms, but I always saw them as separate entities. As Lizardman floats off, there he stands, our green-haired hero. He returns back to the village, which is now nighttime, and disappears into a house, and we're done. The credits play out, the game ends. Well, I say credits, it actually just shows Wonder Boy's different forms. Human, that's clever. Then lists all the enemies and music played. There are no actual credits here. Also, you have to hard reset the console to get off the end screen. I forgot games used to do that.
I highly recommend that you check out Dragon's Trap. Although your means to do so are actually quite limited. The Sega Master System version is quite expensive to get now, and full disclosure, I actually had to emulate this game in order to capture it for the video. It is available, and I do own it on the Wii Virtual Console, but that version runs slowly, so I really wouldn't recommend it. If only somebody would re-release this game with awesome new art and make it available on new consoles. Well, it turns out there actually is a remake in the works. Developed by Lizard Cube and published by .emu, it's going to be released in hopefully 2017, so fingers crossed it's going to be amazing. Anyway, thank you so much for checking out my video. This obviously was the very first video I've ever done. It's been a massive learning experience for me. If you've liked the video, or at least tolerated it, please click like, please subscribe to encourage me to do more stuff. I'm going to say goodbye now, so bye bye, and remember everyone, stay fairly geeky. Bye!